Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeart Radio.
Okay. Sometimes I like to talk with an accent. I really want an English accent. I think that's why I'm going to go to Europe for a while. Maybe it'll rub off on me. Remember when Madonna thought she had an English accent? No.
Still does, right?
Does she? Is it back?
I think so. I don't know if it ever left.
Interesting. I'm going to tell you who's not going anywhere because she's stuck with us for the next 45 minutes. Rachel Zoe is our guest today. And I'm singing because I'm so excited. I have always been a fan of hers.
And I
watched her reality show and we're singing and I'm happy. Loved her reality show. I've never been a style maven. I've never known how to dress myself. It's not really been my thing. Fashion is not my life, but I have such respect for people whose it is. And so whenever she was styling people for award shows and continues to do, I just loved it. She's a designer, a businesswoman, an author, a mother, and an incredible wife to Roger. They've been married for 25 years or whatever it is. We'll get into all of that. I'm really excited to have her on the show today.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it. Just anyone that's been able to juggle everything that she has, entrepreneur, family, so many ideas. Just, I love it. I'm so intrigued by people that actually, make it all come true. And I can't wait to talk to her. I've never met her.
I've never met her either. And she just seems like she's like that girl's girl, that you want to just grab a cocktail with. Mm-hmm. So coming up next, Rachel Zoe.
What is it? Imitation's the best form of flattery.
Yeah. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. And I feel like not to be like one of those creepos, but I've been doing that with you for years now. Give me a chunky gold necklace, all of the things.
God.
No, it's true. It's really nice to meet you. I'm Carissa.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Erin.
Have you guys met before?
No, but I feel like I know you from Sam Phipps.
You know Sammy?
Well, yeah. So I inherited her in my marriage, and she was friends with my husband. And yes, I hear stories about you all the time.
It seems like your guys' group of friends, like Kate Hudson and with
Sarah,
the foster girls, you guys have this rad girl group, which is in a way, it feels like we all know you because you guys are always together and posting in different things. But you have when I met Sarah, it's like you guys, or Kate Hudson, when I used to work at Extra, I was going through a breakup and she immediately was like, give me your cell phone. We're going out tonight. We're getting drinks. You guys just have this awesome network of girls. Where does that come from? Where is the inception? Who is the OG that started this group? I mean, I know you worked with them.
Well, and that's an old OG. You guys have been friends forever. Yeah. Then you add Eric and all the flowers, everything.
Yeah. And all the flowers. To be very honest, it was actually different parts. So Sarah Foster and Kate Hudson and I met literally basically on the same day in and around. So Sam, I've literally been friends with since before we lived in LA. So we were having the best New York life
Sam
together. Mm-hmm. And then Sam upped and moved here to LA. Probably 2000 maybe, right? And then I was working here so much that I eventually, in 2003, I was like, babe, we have no kids. We're not tied to anything. We're workaholics. 90% of my work is in LA now. So let's just try it. And if we don't like it, New York's not going anywhere. So we moved out here. But while I was doing that, I was actually staying at the, it used to be L'Hermitage. Now it's another hotel in Beverly Hills. And I was staying there and I was styling. And I remember going up to this one suite for jewelry around Oscar time. And literally tripped over Kate. And I was wearing 500 pieces of jewelry. And Kate was like, what are you wearing? And we started just talking about jewelry. And we were such kind of style soulmates that we just started I love what you're wearing. I love it. And then we became friends. But what ended up happening is I was taking, so it was when she was doing Almost Famous. And I ended up going to her house to bring her this Versace dress that she ended up wearing to the Oscars. And Sarah opened the door
Now we got a party, ladies and gentlemen.
Sarah was so young and she was so hot. Not that she's actually as hot today as she was when I met her, when she was like, she must have been like 19. I don't even know, 18. I have no idea. But she's wearing cutoff denim shorts, a white tank top, and Uggs. And she answers the door. She's like on the phone. And it's almost like the rest was history. Like, I just got really close with Sarah. I got really close with Kate. Kate and I started working together. And then obviously, like, I became close with Erin, her sister, you know what I mean? And then it just kind of, and Sam, because she was in LA and I was here, we just were always together. And then ironically, like, my oldest and her youngest ended up being in kindergarten together.
Oh, yeah.
And then now neither of us actually go to that school anymore. And then she moved to Manhattan Beach and I moved to Brentwood, and, you know, and here we are. But my relationship with Sam will always be one that's like, if I don't see her for 6 months or a year, we pick up exactly where we left off. She's just the greatest person.
Mine too. When I go away for 6 months to work football, and then I do re-entry to be like, hey, I'm back. She'll be like, okay, what are we catching up on? But you just go to the same crap, you know, and you're totally fine. But yeah.
Girlfriends, and Erin and I have been friends for 100 years from our sports background because we met doing the same job. And it's just, girlfriends are so important. And you are the queen, though, of long-lasting relationship. As a gal that's on her second marriage, the fact that you and Roger have been together since, 1998, right? Is that
we've been together. We just celebrated this past August 29th, 30 years together.
So great.
And, I mean,
and
what's the key?
We're married.
What is the help? What is the key?
You know, it's weird. We really do recognize that it's a bit of like a freak of nature thing. Like, we do understand it's not normal at all. Like, I actually think it's almost more normal to not stay together that long. Like, if you actually think about it, you guys, to be with one person for life is a very surreal like concept, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, in the tradition of marriage, like, that's actually what it's supposed to be. And if you ask me,
allegedly,
these days, not so much.
Hello.
But I would say that a couple things. First and foremost, and I know it sounds so obvious, but first and foremost, trust. I have never once in 30 years questioned what he's doing when he's not with me. Never once. And I think that has so much to do with it.
Yeah.
Also, when I was very young and I was building my career and running around with like male actors and supermodels and all these, living this crazy life, and he was an investment banker, not as crazy. I remember his friends being like, how do you let her do that? Like, how do you just let her go and be with these guys and travel around the world? And Roger always had this approach of like, if they can get her, they can have her, you know?
Wow.
And it was this weird concept that people were like, huh? Because all of his friends were like these jealous guys that would like never let their girls out of their sight, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't understand that. Like, if there's a guy that can get you, he can absolutely have you, because it's because
it's not going to happen. Yeah.
But, and also, like, at that point, you don't want to be with me. Right.
Right.
So that was more of his concept. And it was so, it made so much sense, you know? And so it really worked, you know what I mean? Like, it really worked because I did whatever, and I never strayed. I never thought about it. And if you asked me my whole life, I would have said, I'm not the marrying type. I'm never going to be able to be with one. I was boy crazy, just like my kids are girl crazy. I loved boys. I had a million boyfriends. I was never alone. The day before I met him, I had just gotten out of like my umpteenth serious relationship. And I was like, I'm going to go find myself. I'm going to be alone. I don't want to date anyone for at least a year. I don't even want to meet a guy. Met him the next day, been with him 30 years. So here I am. It makes no sense.
Yeah, well, it works. It works for us. The name of your
it
podcast.
does work for us. And that's why we started it, honestly, because to your point, it's what every single person we meet is like, how you work together, you parent together. I don't understand how that even works. And, you know, truth is, I mean, we're very much like Lucy and Ricky. I mean, we bicker, but like our recovery time is 10 seconds. And I think a lot of it too, I think there's a big misconception about marriage. You hear people say very often, like when they associate marriage with like a part of their life, they go, well, marriage is hard. Marriage is really hard. And I think Raj and I did that are always like, that's where you're actually wrong. Like Raj and I always say, it's so funny. It's like everything else in life is hard. Like we're the easy part.
Yeah.
Like your husband and wife, that should be where you come home and you're like, it's like you're a safe person. It's your easy, let your guard down, just be you. Like that should be the thing that's the most effortless thing in your life. It should never be the challenge. The minute it's the challenge, I think that's where you have to like take a step back because this is your forever, right?
Yeah. Well,
so not that it doesn't have like ups and downs, because of course it does. Any relationship does.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it should be that hard.
It's very, I come from Erin's parents are still together. My parents are still together. So I'm just always in awe and envious of that. So kudos to you. It should never be overlooked because it is, especially in the world that you guys live in, you know, to have that anchor that keeps you, and you said it, he lets you be you and you let him be him. So it's a beautiful relationship.
But with that, let me ask, because I am so intrigued and I was dying to just talk to you with how much you juggle, with how much you have your hands in. And my gosh, fashion, social media, I mean, on Bravo back in the day, now wallpaper, all of that. I mean, I was sending links of it to my sister today because I was like, this is so good for you, for your apartment and just to give you some life. You know who else is in wallpaper and did my house in Montana? Samantha Phipps. And wallpaper she just changes your life. But before we get to that, I have to ask you, Rachel, with you involved in so much, and I don't know how you operate in terms of, I have so many ideas and I have so many things. I am trying really hard in my marriage, almost at 5 years, to stay present and be where your feet are and give him the time he needs, especially when I'm not during my season. How do you do that with your marriage, with your kids? What do you do?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. We just launched our second venture fund. And I think, my biggest thing that I've become really obsessed with over the last year or two is really having my hands in a lot of different businesses and really like consulting, advising, investing. And I think all the other things, like you mentioned, the wallpaper and fragrance and all these other things, it's weird. I'm a creative person. I'm definitely a creative person. I've been my whole life before I even knew it. And I think when you're a creative person, there's this kind of like this ticking thing in your body that like explodes if you're not stimulated, right? And you have to like project that creativity on everything you do. And so, for example, I'm just going to say like my office, right?
Yeah.
I must re-merch and restyle these shelves like twice a week. Like I'll just be on the phone with someone and stand up and start like restyling books and things
Charissa,
like that.
You're dying. You love it.
And so I think to that extent, I think my career, for me, I've never planned any of it. Not my books. Everything I ever said no to, I did. I was like, oh God, no, I'd never write a book. I don't even read books. Who has time? And and TV shows, like I'm never letting anyone in my life, like all those things. But I think there's a time and a place. And I've definitely always been governed by my gut instinct for things. And when opportunities come, it's not always the right time. It's not always the right people that you want to do business with. And I think those things kind of pull you into things. Now, becoming a mom and much later in life, by the way. How old were you? Roger and I were together. Brace yourself.
Yeah.
When I tell people this out loud, it sounds crazy. We were together for 18 years before we had children.
Wow.
I remember that, but I remember you got, and again, because your life was out there,
right?
With your show, it was weird. Not weird. That's not the right way to say it. It was, it was just, you were just this like dynamo and continue to be, right? With like the business side. And Erin and I have talked about this for a long time. Like when is the right time to have kids, or how it's going to disrupt my business. And so then when you know, to think now with your children, like, who knew what your life looked like before those boys, right?
Yeah,
because now they're your whole world. And so when is that right time to shift up, and what made it change for you guys and decide like, hey, we need to do this and we want to do this now?
Time, really time. Because, you know, it's a weird thing, because I was this weird hybrid of a completely career obsessed perfectionist workaholic for my whole adult life. Those types of people are not typically people that you say, oh, she's going to be a mom. She needs to be a mom, you know? But weirdly, since I was 16, 15, I was always called like Mama Zoe, or, you know, I was always the mom. I was always the one taking care of everybody. I was always the one, you know, just, I was the shoulder they cried on. I was the ear. I was the this. It was all those things. And then when all my friends started having children, it was funny because I'd be the one adult that was invited to kids' birthdays that had no kids. And I would be the one out there playing with 25 kids while all the parents were like drinking wine.
In an amazing flowing gown, designer gown, as she's out there like, seriously,
balloon animals.
I was definitely in heels. I was definitely, but it was weird. So I was very, very conflicted, because I knew in my soul that I had to be a mother, because I loved children. I loved them. What I couldn't solve for was how in God's name I was going to have time to do that. And I was like, how? I don't even have time to shower. I sleep 4 hours a night. You know what I mean? Like I'm living the most ridiculous life. And then, as you may have seen on the show, but I got very sick in 2009, and I got vertigo that was debilitating for about a year. Yeah. And ultimately, like, your body sometimes makes decisions and just says, you know what? Guess what? Just kidding. You can't live like this anymore. And, I would attribute it to say I was probably collapsing of sorts from exhaustion, you know? And then Raj and I, one day, we were just like, oh God, I'm getting old. Like, I really kind of need to do this. And what do we do? You know, it was sort of like, how do I get a baby? It was sort of like, how do I do this?
Where do we start?
My head around it. And I got pregnant. Honestly, it's funny. I was pregnant for 9 weeks before I even realized I was pregnant.
Wow.
Because we weren't trying. We weren't not trying, but we weren't trying.
Yeah.
I was just working. And then I just remember finding out I was pregnant in the summer of like 2010. And I just remember, like, you know, those pregnancy tests, you take them and it takes like, you know, it takes like a minute to see what color, what plus sign or whatever. And there's like 4 of them in a box. Girls, I took 4 of them. They took 5 seconds to come up with the answer. It was like, you
are strong.
Like, these are not wrong.
There was no, Oh, that's funny. My luck, I'd be like, is that another line? Is it not a line? Like, so there was no.
It looks crooked.
It was. I was confused. So, but the truth is, you guys, I remember taking this hospital tour when I was like 8.5 months pregnant. And I remember at Cedars, and I left the hospital and I got in the car and I go, nope, can't do it. And Roger goes, he goes, what are you talking about? I go,
we're doing it.
Like, what? He goes, do you want a C-section? I go, no, I can't do that. I'm freaking out. Like, I don't know how to give birth. He's like, nobody knows how to give birth. I'm like, you can't say a word about this. You're just going to stand there like looking at me. And, you know, I was in a full panic. Like, I could have stayed pregnant for like 5 years. Like, that was fine with me. I was just like not ready. And then all of a sudden, like, Sky was in my hands, and it was almost like my life just went upside down and backwards with love. And I froze for like a year. I couldn't get my head out of like him, you know, in terms of like, I'm not leaving him. I don't think I left him for like 3 years. Like, and then I had my second one. I just took him everywhere, honestly.
Yeah.
And, you know, after Caius, like, it's weird. By the second one, you're sort of like, okay, I can do both. I got this, you know. But what I did, in all honesty, I think because I was an older mom and I kind of had already felt my career set up, so to speak, I was able to bring my kids to work.
Yeah.
It was your businesses.
Yes, because they're mine. But then what happened was in my company, 6 girls had babies the same time as me. And I immediately opened a nursery in my office because I was like, no way I'm bringing my baby and
You're
they're
so
not
sweet.
bringing their babies. So everyone had their babies. It was the cutest thing in the whole, it was the best. Honestly, it was the best. And
well, you're the best boss then, because
Yeah.
now you're creating a work environment that is family, and now they're invested because you're invested. And that's the whole thing that Erin and I are learning, with her very successful clothing line. And I started
It's
an
team
interior design
apparel,
company.
Rachel. It's not like you by any ways. I have an NFL,
stop.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Stop
Team
it.
apparel. But I know, but it's Rachel Zoe for
wait,
Christ's
that's
sake.
so cool.
Thanks.
It's
I have
right?
a lot
No,
of
it's
friggin'
awesome.
questions for you. I mean, Jesus,
Okay.
Wait,
this
so
world.
go, Erin. Yeah. So I know we only have so much time with you, and we have. This is like that thing where it's like you want like hours with
I
you
know.
because
It's
the
okay.
entrepreneur
Go for
brain of Erin and I like want to just dive into yours because you've been so successful in all of your businesses. So what did
I'm
you
here for
specifically
it.
want to ask her?
Oh, I just think, God, I have, Rachel, I have a lot of questions. No, so number
Ask away.
one on the
I'll
thing.
let you know when I have to jump.
Yeah, please do.
You're so sweet.
I think just reinventing yourself. I mean, and also just staying relevant. You've been unbelievable. I mean, you've been a household name forever. And thank you for having babies later in your life. You've made it great for 43-year-olds like me to be acceptable and be like, fuck off. She's done it. Leave me alone, So, but I guess just staying
100.
relevant and reinventing yourself and your brand. Some of the best pieces of advice for that.
Okay, so it's a great question, honestly, because I find that, look, I don't even have a nanny. And I don't say that to be a martyr. I say it because I want to raise my kids, and I'm not saying people shouldn't have nannies. I do have someone that helps me after school for like 2 hours so she can like help the boys with homework, because parents doing schoolwork
That
with
new
the kids,
math will get you
I
every
don't
time.
advise that. I just don't advise it. It's just like your kids don't want you to be that teacher and you don't want to be that teacher. We all learned that in the pandemic. No. And so I think that the staying relevant question is the best question. And I'm going to tell you why. Because people are always like, well, I mean, you don't have to do this anymore. Like, you don't have to go to this stuff anymore. You don't have to like da-da-da. And it's not true. You actually do still have to appear at things that are important.
Yeah.
It's different than when you're in your 20s and 30s where you go to everything, right? You go to everything. There's no edit. Like, if I don't go to this, I'm not going to get hired. If I don't show my face at this, if I don't support this person, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, for me, I have this like mental list, okay? And it's sort of like, okay, is this important for you, for your job, for your career, for your like, is this an important business decision for you to show up at X? Whatever it is, like doing a shoot, showing up at a work dinner, whatever that is. Okay, does it check that box? Is it something that is supporting a friend, whether that's a close designer that's in from Paris, whether it's one of your girlfriends? Okay, if it's someone super important in your life, you need to show up and support, right? And I think that the other box, of course, would be that it's paying you a lot of money to show up somewhere, right? Because that's the biggest struggle as a parent. If I'm going to miss bath and bedtime and dinner with my kids, it has to check one of those boxes, if not all. And if it doesn't check those boxes, I'm home. Now, the pandemic was a gift in the sense of, I think, for working parents that feel that constant pull between working kids and have to travel a lot, to not leave my kids for like 16 months, for me, because I happen to be obsessed with them, it was the greatest gift, honestly. Homeschooling them and like getting to see everything. When I say homeschooling, I was not their teacher. We were lucky enough to have a teacher that was transformative and really just an incredible experience. But obviously, wishing it wasn't a global pandemic, but just that time was really beautiful and really special. But I think staying relevant is a really hard task because you need to keep your name strong, because ultimately that affects everything else, right? And that affects the things you get hired for, the amount you get paid for things, the amount people want you to do things, right? And it's funny because there's those moments where you're like, oh, so over myself. Like, who's going to hire me to do anything? You know, I'm so sick of my name, my fit, like, who the hell? And then like, I'll get offered some like great thing that is like, and I'm like, why do they want that? And they're like, because your brand sells to people, you know, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you don't know that sometimes when you're in your own head, right? And I
bought the Rachel Zoe lamp the other day. I didn't even know it was your lamp. I was like, this lamp is dope. And then I looked and I was like, of course it's hers.
Oh,
like,
that makes
no,
me
I'm not
so
kidding.
happy.
I did. And I put it in, it's in Nurse Jamie's spa, actually, because I was helping her redo, she was doing a one over in Brentwood.
Don't you love that space? It's so gorgeous.
Guess who helped
so
design
massive.
it?
Yeah. But I was like, Jamie, we're not doing it. And you know, Jamie with her taste, and I can say this lovingly, but Jamie kind of, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? She kind of throws some stuff in there. I'm like, oh no, Jamie, this is a bad look.
Girl can stick a needle though.
We had to work. But anyway, so your lamp was, I was like, this is gorgeous.
And it makes me so happy to hear that, because it's just, I don't know, it's just fun.
Well, no, but it's because it's you, but it's your brand. And whether it's a lamp, whether it's, you know, even with Curator, which is another thing I want to get into.
So good.
I know what I am in life, and I can do the home design stuff, but like clothing and not stylish in terms of, you know, getting myself dressed, I'm lazy. I'm t-shirt, jeans, maybe some accessories.
I'm a boy.
That's okay.
But yeah, we're both a little boyish in that regard.
That's okay. I think that's sexy as hell. Like, well, honestly, guys love that.
I know, but I love all of your, like, I look at your hands and I'm like, those jewelries and the neck, like, where did your love of fashion? And then the second part of that is Curator allowing people like Erin and I to make it dummy proof.
Yeah.
Like,
have a box of coolness.
Exactly. So sort of like your love of the fashion, and then how you're able to gift that with something like Curator.
So the thing is so funny, I'm looking to my right because I took these earrings off because I thought that I was going to put a headset on. I just want you to see these because I had to do this shoot right before.
Are these the ones in the box?
I want to go in your closet.
No,
oh my gosh.
But
look at that.
Next time we'll do a virtual and I'll take you into the closet. But my love, honestly, you guys, truthfully, I was born with it. I'd love to say I picked it up somewhere, but my mother is kind of like this Jewish Liz Taylor vibe. And like, she like rolls out of bed with like full face of makeup and jewelry. And like my sister, it's funny. My mother's like, I gave birth to you guys the same way. I would throw you in my jewelry closet. One would organize it and one would take everything. Who do you think I was? So I think I think it really is a little bit of DNA. I do. But I really have always been in love with anything that's beautiful. Like whatever it is, whether it's a home, a room, a tree, a person, like I'm just attracted to things that are just beautiful and whatever that is, but all kinds of beauty. That's a thing. It's like, I don't know, like I could just stare at a sunrise and take 800 photos of it. And Roger's like, are you okay? I'm like, it's just so amazing. He's like, seriously, are you okay?
Roger.
So I don't know. Curator was created.
Curator, I need to say it the right way. So it's, sorry to interrupt. I want to say it Curator. Because you're so much like your fans. Curator. Okay. You know, seriously, I'm like Curator. You're like, no, it's Curator.
It's Curator. But it's French for to curate. And basically it is, I've been hired throughout my entire career to curate for individuals, for brands, for different companies, for homes, whatever it is, it was always some form of curation. And Curator was created so that I could style as many women as possible. And it was sort of my mission with this business to be able to curate for all women.
So smart.
And be able to touch them in some way. Because that was the thing over the last 20 plus years that people would be like, I wish you could style me. What would you wear if this? What do you like this season? What's it? And this is sort of my accessible answer to, okay, I love this shaped bag for the season. I love a big gold statement necklace for this season. I'm obsessed with this new face oil or lip product or whatever it is. But now way even more than that. So that's a quarterly. That's every season. And as a member, you get it delivered to your door every season, right? But beyond that, we launched the shop. And the shop is kind of the answer to all of your sort of like shopping dreams, whether for yourself or for anyone in your life to buy gifts or anything like that. And it's things that I curate, but at exclusive discounts. And you get all these different things by coming into our community and being a member. And it's just really fun. It's just a fun kind of community to be a part of. And we're launching all these different things. We're going to start doing I'm going to start doing in conversations and things like that. So as a member, you get to ask me all these fun questions, and
it's a no-brainer. My head is blowing up. It's a no-brainer, and it's like a to-do or just for you to set aside for me to be like, this is how you smell magical. This is how you look dewy. This is a fabulous little new purse that we're going to wear this season. These are the hoops. Yes. This is I don't even want to say if it's a scarf or handkerchief because I don't want to sound stupid in front of you. So it's a no-brainer. Good for you. I'm getting a membership.
I just know that I bought 700 Missoni blankets because you used to always have them. And I was like, I want to be cool like Rachel. And she loves Missoni. Do you see? There you go.
Rachel, I need to know right now what your favorite candle is at your house and what your favorite scent is, because you look like someone to me that you walk into your house and it's so soothing and fabulous and smells great. And I would grab your candle just like I did at my boss's house when we went to his fancy dinner. And I'd probably take a whiff of you and be like, what are you wearing? Because I feel like you smell so great in person. What are your scents?
So 2 things. So I have a bunch, but I would say my favorites, I have a lot of Tom Ford fragrance that I love. Santal Blush will be probably my forever favorite. I also love Soleil Blanc. I love a lot of his fragrances. I am in the middle. This is just a little teaser, but I'm about to finalize my premier fragrance with my name on it. That'll be my real bathe myself in it every day.
Charissa, that's you.
So that's coming out soon. Candles. Okay. So Diptyque, I'm obsessed with.
What flavor?
Le Labo.
What scent?
I'm obsessed with Le Labo. I also like Byredo, by Byredo.
I have the hand wash. Yes, I have some sort of coolness. Sway.
So good. But Diptyque, I'm obsessed with the fig. That scent is it's just heaven. It's like you walk into the room and it's like, I don't know, there's just something about fig. It's not even I like figs. Yeah. It's just somehow in a candle and in a room spray and things like that. The fig, it's like fig de bois or something. And it's
I got to try that because I always go for the black candle, whatever that was, the Bebes or whatever it is.
That one's amazing too. I have that one in my front entranceway as well.
I have this smoky one that smells like a guy because guess who's a guy? I like that one. It's my Montana scent.
You're so gorgeous. You guys are so gorgeous. And you're trying to play off this whole I'm dude tomboy, and I'm sorry, not that it's bad, but you're not. I mean, you may be, but you don't look like it. Not that it's bad.
You're very sweet. So, right, you've done so many different
guys really well.
Well, we're kind of by the nature of our job, we're kind of become morph into that maybe.
Yeah.
You guys, can I be really embarrassed right now? So my kids, you guys will get a laugh about this. It's gonna make you.
What are we doing?
So I was texting with the soccer coach because I had a full panic. My kids have this 2-hour soccer class with this amazing English coach that I love here. He's straight out of Manchester, and
Ted Lasso.
And I'm he's super cute. Anyway, so I'm just saying. Aren't all soccer players cute? I just
they're not.
I dated one.
At all.
Yeah, they have a thing. It's the European thing.
It is once they start talking, I'm okay.
And they spoke 3 different languages. Right. I was into that.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so I texted him. I go, wait, is there anything I have to get besides cleats? I'm aren't there the things that go that they
shin
need
guards,
thingies? And he's shin guards. I'm yep. And he's LOL. I'm do you think less of me? He's a little, but it's okay. I was I don't even tell you. I'm trying. I'm a boy mom kind of by life mistake. I mean, it's the happiest thing that ever happened, but I'm figuring it out as I go. So the equipment thing, you guys, I'm confused. I got the wrong cleats the first time for I think turf or some other material.
You're doing great.
That means you're normal. I'd be annoyed if you knew our world too and knew how to make your house smell good.
You can't be great at everything, Rachel.
Yeah.
really learning the sports mom thing as I go.
Well, I saw on your Instagram they were cheering for the Rams at the you guys were at a Super Bowl party. So that was, hey, they like what we do. How about this? We'll help you out with the NFL side of things. You help us out with everything else. You know, being a girl, decorating our house. You can come to my office, do the back like you did with your books. Love it.
Yes, I'm here for it, you guys. Let's team up. I feel like we're like a great trio.
Oh yeah.
I love one thing. We have a lot of listeners, Rachel, who like younger females, and I always ask professional advice, like how to get into the industry, like in a male dominated industry, all those things. What's one piece of it?
Really in a male dominated industry.
We're in it. Yeah.
I travel with 40 males every single week. I'm the only female on the crew. It's fun. I have a great time.
Which is exactly why your husband needs to be secure too. Exactly. So going back to that previous point about Raj, you know,
Raj, he gets it.
Being confident.
Yep.
What's the one piece of advice that you wish you could go back and tell your younger self?
I love that.
Wow. There's a lot. I would say don't be scared to use your voice, especially in a male dominated world. And I used it sometimes. And I think in those days, if you used it as a female, you were perceived as difficult.
Bitchy.
Right. Bitchy or difficult. But now you'd be called a badass, right? Now, or men get called badass. When we would say, like, there was a lot of things I had to protect in my career. And like whether it was clients or designers or, you know, just there were just a lot of decision. There was a lot of like decision making that was made primarily by men.
Yeah.
And so I would say that. I would also say, you know, in what I've done throughout my career, and probably similar to what you guys do, there was zero line between my personal and professional life. And my work was my life. So that ran into events, dinners, you know, social life, whatever it was, there was no divide. And inevitably what would happen was that people that I, you know, hired or trusted, you know, there's people that don't have your back and people that do really crush you in the process. And I think that that's a lesson that you learn young, you know, because you're doe-eyed and you're excited and you're giving 10,000% to everything you do, which I do now, but I'm much more apprehensive. Like, I think what it is you know, wisdom comes with experience, right? And I think for me, the greatest wisdom is you have to really know the signs of a person that is not a good person.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that was the biggest learning. And I've been hurt in all different parts of my career. And, you know, now you go at things with this really good lens and an even better instinct for people, and you see the red flags and you see the warning signs early on, and you know where to kind of like, you know, stop something. And I think that's really for me. And I say that to young people all the time, because I think the hardest part about being young is that you're naive.
Yeah.
And that comes with being young. Like, it's almost the best thing about being young. It's like you have your whole life in front of you and you just assume the best of everybody. And at least I did. And I've always been that way. And you don't want to become, that sort of like curmudgeon person that like, doesn't,
you don't want to be jaded.
Don't.
Yeah.
You don't. And it's hard. And you don't want to become a hater. You don't want to become cynical. I'm just not that person.
Yeah.
But I do really look at things differently and people differently that are going to be close to me in my world beyond work, and people that you let around your kids and into your home, you know?
Yeah. I want to go sit in your like kitchen. I feel like because you said Mama Zoe, and I want to like have a charcuterie board and glasses of wine and just smell your candles and just talk to you.
Wait,
I think you're a dream. You are so
weekend?
nurturing. I'm obsessed. Like, I feel a calmness with you. I really do.
You're so cute. The reason that I'm laughing is because this weekend, full disclosure, I had one of the best nights of my life.
What happened?
True story. Like, does it compare with like the Valentino anniversary weekend in Rome in 2009 or like,
you were there too? Amazing.
Like different, but I threw a 11th birthday party for my older son, which I can't believe he's 11. It makes me want to die. Well, not yet.
Yeah, you just said 11.
March 22nd is his real birthday, but he did it with a friend of his that shares the same birthday. And we turned my backyard into a full-on dance party.
Cute.
And I thought that kids were not going to dance. And they danced for 4 hours straight. We were like dropping it like it's hot. Like it's crazy. And we were like the embarrassing parents on the dance floor. And we all had too much to drink. It was so fun to watch these kids just let go after 2 years of no mask and just have fun and be kids. And, but the charcuterie board thing, everyone was like, oh, just order pizza, get sliders. And what was I doing? Like pre-party, I am mental. I had like 9 kinds of like different salamis, 6 kinds of cheeses and 8 kinds of crackers. I'm laying grapes and like Marcona almonds. And I was just, it had to be the pretty.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what those almonds are.
Really good.
I'd be like,
oh, they're so good.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Girl,
I'm a terrible entertainer that way. I need some tips from you. But what I think is so sweet, Rachel, about what you said is you just talked about your 11-year-old's birthday and there wasn't video games. No, but there wasn't video games. There wasn't iPhones. There wasn't iPads. It was something free, which was dancing.
Yeah,
like that's an awesome departure from the world. Like Erin and I don't have children, but I would be so terrified to raise children in this world for a number of different reasons, but all of the social influences and like, how do you keep those babies protected, but still keep their eyes wide open?
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's parenting. It really is, because I have so many friends that are like, oh, I don't know. I can't raise my child in New York City. I don't know. I can't. I mean, raising your kids in LA, I don't know. But I have to tell you, with the exception of maybe like Minnesota or like, you hear that almost everywhere. Right. Like it's not where, it's the parenting. Your children come out a certain way and the rest is up to you. And when you meet bullies, it's the parents. It's not the kid. You know what I mean? You can't blame kids. That's the thing. And ultimately you just have to parent really hard. You just do. You got to mom hard. And it does change everything. And I think people that say it doesn't, it's not true. At least for me, it does change everything. And it changes the way you look at life and it changes the way you look at everything. But I think, look, it's not for everybody.
Right.
But I do think, look, one of the most badass women I've ever known in my life had a child at 50. But I guess what I would say is, because I think you asked me early on, Erin, about being an older mother, or, I had Sky, I think at 38. And Caius, I think at 41, I want to say something in and around there. And I was very blessed that I had them naturally. It's only now that I actually realized they were actual medical miracles that I had them naturally. I don't think I realized it in the moment, because I don't think I felt that age, to be honest. And I don't think I realized that it was older until someone was like, oh, you have a geriatric pregnancy.
I love that one.
Which is a terrible, why do they say that to us?
Did you go to Dr. Silverman? You got to go get checked.
No,
it's horrible. But I get it. They're trying to take care of you. But yeah, that's a fun one to hear too.
I was like, really? Do I have a walker? Geriatric? Like, are you
at 35? Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun. That's another series. Oh boy. Your dream.
But I think you guys, you do you, and don't let anyone judge. Do what feels right. There's no right or wrong. Having kids, not having them at whatever age, it doesn't actually matter. You just have to do what feels right to you and don't follow other people's rule books. That doesn't work.
You're amazing. And you had that signature look of your hair. As a person who's changed my hair 755 times.
Have you?
I went short. I went long.
13.
Oh my gosh, you have that signature look.
Always.
And it's
so cute.
You have, as Erin said, a warmth about you. I feel
Nurture.
You make everyone feel like they know you, but it's authentic and kind. And I look up to you so much, your businesses, but also now in knowing what a great friend you are, because your friend group is an indication of who you are as a person. And when you have girlfriends for a long time, it means you're doing something right as well. So thank you so much.
I can't wait to smell like you. I'm going to spray myself when it comes out.
I'm going to send you my new fragrance.
I cannot
as
wait.
soon as it's out. Wait, do I have to come to the game or something and see you guys like in action?
I would
yes,
kill for you to come to the game.
we
I'll
need
get
to-
you
can
down
we
on the
have a girls'
sidelines.
night?
Wait,
I
what?
really
What
want
was
to follow up on our girls' night. Where's Sam? Get Sam on line 1. Let's
Under.
grab
Sam
some
doesn't
wine
leave the
and
bubble.
talk about it.
Rachel knows that.
Wait, are you guys here though? You live in LA as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to do that. I feel like we really have to do that. And you guys are going to teach me a thing or two because I really got to get better at this for real.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeart Radio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.